You both have been on reality television.
Yeah.
You know, how you come across, I'm guessing it's partly to do with what kind of a person you are, but does it also hinge a lot on how it's edited?
Yeah, but if
'Cause
you're
they-
a nice person...
A little bit, because you got the jungle, and
Yeah.
it's an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Like the Aussie one was 6 weeks. I was in for 4, so I went in late. Last one out, like. But the thing about it is that people can put an act on for a certain amount of time, and I think you see it in the jungle more than any. And then after a certain period of time, that act drops, and you resort to what you are. Harry's just a great bloke.
Yeah.
He's not even trying.
Yeah.
He's just being Harry Redknapp.
But I think if you're a
you
nice
stay
person...
until the end if you're the most popular.
Well, you win it.
Right.
You win it.
And you won the Australian version.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying.
But I think if you're a nice person,
Yeah.
no matter how it's edited, surely if you're like that in life, you'll come across that way, no?
Well, you can imagine getting stitched up, can't you? You make one slightly.
But why-
off colour
Merv Hughes was in with me.
Was he?
right? And I think he got stitched up because there was a conversation going on in the camp. You sit around having the camp. Merv Hughes, great Australian cricketer, big tash, burly fella, used to swear and shout at everyone. Yeah, proper sledger. And there's that killer in Australia called, is it Chopper Reed? Is it? Or Chopper Reed?
Like a mass murderer.
Mass murderer, and they made movies about him.
He wasn't in it, no?
Yeah, he got kicked out
Was
first week.
was he in it?
Yeah, he wasn't very popular.
He wasn't in the
Was he?
jungle.
He's in
Was
prison
he?
for life,
A
you
mass
knob.
murderer? Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
let's have him
yeah.
on I'm a Celebrity. What is he on?
There was all
I just
sorts
thought he might have
in
been in it. I don't know. I thought he might have been out.
So the conversation got onto this fella, and then Merv did an impression of him, and then they played it as if Merv was saying these things to people, I think, and he got booted out.
Really?
And then there's a couple of other people in there, and I was listening to them talk, and I'm not going to mention the names.
Yeah.
And I was listening to them talk, and the way they were coming across, thinking, "You're out of here, you." If this gets played, and they must not have played it. They must have looked after some people, thinking, "You know what?
Really?
These might work for us in the future."
Yeah.
So it is how you edit it, and it's how you perceive.
Can I ask you? So I saw the newspaper photos of celebrities having to eat bugs and do all sorts of
Yeah.
other challenges. Did you have to do that in Australia?
Yeah,
What did you have to do? What sort of challenges?
I did most of them, to be honest.
Nothing faze him, does it? No, he could do anything.
It does,
What was
but
the
then-
worst one?
But do you know the worst one? But they didn't know. Was I went in late, and the first night, so I go in late, and then you fill a form in about what you don't like, and
Dark, you're dark.
so it's out there. I don't like the dark, so I thought I'll be truthful about that. Another one, I put frogs.
Why?
Because I don't mind frogs. If I did this challenge, you dumped a load of frogs on me head. It's like, oh no, not a frog, not a frog. Get these frogs off me head.
He is so strategic.
So if you're
It's like a
scared,
game of chess.
so they wouldn't put you in a box under the ground.
The first night, me and this chef, she's called Julie Goodwin, lovely lady, like one of their master chefs. So we've got in together, and they put us in this cave, pitch black, things hanging down, bed, and you can go out. You get, I think, 3 2-minute breaks over 12 hours to have a wee at what you need to do. So I'm in there, and I don't like the dark. So I'm a bit on
that's
edge.
pretty
The
horrific.
first night, I was
Yeah.
expecting it maybe, and then through the night they kept opening the roof, thinking they're going to drop bugs in, but they didn't drop anything. But it just played on your mind.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was worse. I did all the challenges where I got in a box with rats and they dumped, and I had to put my head in things, and I ate anything and everything, and jumped out of helicopters and messed about, and that was fine. Because do you know what the strange thing is? When there's a TV camera in your face, you'll do anything. Won't you? Well, you will, Rob. I've seen it. You'll do most things. Or you'll advertise on.
You're not wrong. Jungle next
But
year.
it's true, isn't it? And then the thing about the jungle was, because, I know I said this before, I just saw it as an opportunity to do note for a month.
Yeah.
And I'll take this. And then when you get a challenge, you want it because you get a day out of camp.
Yeah, right.
I just watched it.
I
I
also
think.
cheated as well.
What?
Oh, here we go.
What was your one thing? Was it one thing you could take in? No.
One thing you
luxury.
could take in, a luxury item. I didn't want that. So I said a frisbee. Right?
Frisbee.
I just thought to play frisbee for a bit. I don't. What do I want in the jungle? All these people.
Frisbee.
So I just put a frisbee. So I've done this challenge, and then they present me with my frisbee. So cheers, thanks, yeah, my frisbee. Forgot about it. So I threw my frisbee to Merv. Merv then threw it out to the jungle. He was all right. Well, that's that then.
Why did you cheat?
But then what I also did, is I've watched the English.
They can't reclaim the money back, can they?
Charity. I'll check the fine print. Charity, right? So in England, you see them all smoking all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
So in Australia, I knew it's illegal to smoke on Aussie. They don't let you smoke on Aussie TV. So I said, I'm a smoker. I'm not by any stretch. So I said, yeah, how many do you want a day? So I said, well, five a day. Knowing that I'd have to walk out of a gate, not knowing it, but I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have to do it off screen.
Yeah, right.
So they have the gate where you change your batteries every day where someone come and meet you.
Really?
So I'd walk out the gate and then there'd be a chair with a cigarette, which I didn't have. I just sat on the chair and got a bit of peace to myself, not filmed, nobody's hearing. I also then noticed that there's a medical up 50 yards away. So you don't get water. You got to get water. You boil it. You put it in a thing. And I'm thinking, this is I've done this before. This is an hassle. So in the medical up was a water tub, like a water fountain. So I picked all the putty out the window and took it out.
No.
And then filled my bottle 5 times a day.
No.
And then so I was getting fresh drinking water. I was more hydrated than I've ever been in my life. I could. Do you know what? For people who are thirsty and hungry, I could have peed in the mouth and it'd been fine. It was crystal clear. But I was thinking after a few days, I'm thinking, they must think I'm a camel. Nobody's seen me go to the water tub or drink. And then I cottoned on, and Julie Goodwin, who I went in with, I got on really well with, and I slept next to her for 4 weeks, more or less. Wow. And I said, Julie, I'm going to have to come straight. I'm getting fresh water. Here's your bottle, kid. I'll go and get you some.
So obviously, was the Australian version, is it the same jungle they all use?
South Africa.
So it's the same jungle?
Yeah. No, South Africa.
So that Australia used...
I was in Kruger.
So the Kruger, right?
So they need the time difference
right,
to make the programme, so they go to South Africa.
So it's a lot more challenging, isn't it? I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here than Strictly. I mean, Strictly has different...
This is the thing. Do you know why it's challenging? The only reason it's challenging is because you just sit there and you don't do it. And that for me is not challenging. That is the perfect holiday.
Mentally, but for you, mentally challenging,
not at all.
At all.
Well, even when you know,
you like to be on your go. You're like, you've got an addictive personality, haven't you?
You're
like
the one thing, I don't know if it's through some of those things I've come across, like with depression or mental illness, is the fact that I can isolate. And when I like isolating from time to time. I like to step back. So in the jungle, I stepped back and I isolated within myself. And I thought, you know what? I'm not a big talker. You know, around my mates, I get involved in conversation.
You are quite shy, quiet, aren't you?
But with you as well. I don't go into like a new group of people and then bang, bang, bang.
You don't know.
And there's not many people who actually interest me.
Yeah.
So there's all these conversations going on. And I'd sooner just sit there and just chill out. And then I knew if I speak, it's going on telly.
Yeah.
So I'll make it good.
I think the celebrity this year now is for me taken over Strictly.
Yeah.
12 million people, I think, in terms of numbers on ITV. You know, I don't want Strictly's getting 10, 11, 12 as well. But just watching the two platforms, I think the jungle, for me, is taking over this year.
I also made a chessboard as well. I made a chess piece. I made a chessboard.
In the jungle?
That's why I played chess.
How?
Huh? Well, I scratched it on a stone, the board,
and
made some pieces, and then
all right.
How'd you make the pieces?
How'd you make the pieces? How'd you know what was a pawn and what was a king?
Because I'm not daft.
But I think I would fight. I mean, I've seen you do Strictly. I came and watched it live for the Christmas edition. I can sort of imagine. I think I'd find that. I know you said that you thought it was, in a funny kind of way, therapeutic. You go into yourself and have a bit of time thinking. Would you go on Celebrity if you
I would do it now,
Would you?
I've met him on 2 occasions. And
You're not going to do it now. You've said, haven't you? You've met him. You're not doing it. You've just ruled yourself out.
I've met them on 2 occasions, but it's never been the right time.
What?
Work-wise, you know, and we never got down to the fee. Now, let's be fair, and let's be honest.
Was it either you or Vanessa Feltz? It was a toss-up. No.
So listen, it's something I watch. Something I watch with the kids. And another reason was because Charlie, my eldest, said, "Oh, don't embarrass me, Dad. Don't go to school. You know, get embarrassed." And I get that, and that was another reason because you got to think of your family.
But what I also found was because Julia Morris was sharp.
Brilliant.
The Bondi vet's Chris Brown isn't.
Right.
He's very clever, but he's not sharp.
Yeah.
And so in the morning when they came into camp, that is the only time you've got any control because it's live.
Right.
So when they came into camp, I'm thinking, this is where I'm coming into. This is where I'm going for it here.
Yeah.
So I try and not take over.
So strategic.
Yeah,
He
I'm
is so
chess
Rob.
player.
He is.
I never said it, but I went into win. But do you know the problem with that is if you did that on the English one, especially when it was, I'm not seeing Holly. I think Holly's brilliant, but especially the ones I've seen with Ant and Deck, they're not really the type of lad you can take on.
No.
Because they're sharp, aren't they?
Very sharp, yeah.
They've got so much experience in that sort of stuff. Where this Chris Brown, it's his first year. You'd say something, and he's waiting for his ear, like someone to have a comeback.
Right.
By which time there's 4 more coming back.
Would you never do the English one?
No.
Never do it.
Do you know what? Never say never. Because because
you never know.
I think people when they talk about these programs, they think they're above them.
But you'd win it.
It's not a case of being. It's just
you'd win it.
This time in my life, no.
But you would win it.
I wouldn't. Not now.
Yeah, you would. Wouldn't you? You'd win it.
You'd win it.
Oof, Matthew, you okay now?
Got to tell you guys, that was weird. Shall I tell you exactly what happened?
You went out the offer. You went out, didn't you?
I went out because I'll give you the chronology here. You know, Fred, when he broadcasts, he'll often have a cappuccino or a strong coffee before he goes on. And when
I've got 6 shots in mine.
you get loads.
You have
don't
6,
you? Do it
yeah.
a lot. And he said with the cricket, if you wanted to be alert and vigilant and on your game, you'd often have a Red Bull or 2. So I came up today, didn't sleep that well last night, got into the studio, and I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to have a really strong cappuccino, but I don't drink coffee that often. Fred was telling his stories about the jungle. I thought, right, I'm going to down this coffee. I'm going to get in the mood, and I'm going to be absolutely wired. Down the coffee, gets to the end of the story, and you started asking me about. I can't even remember what you were asking me about. My
Really?
heart palpitations in the heart. I started getting drenched.
Your head got a bit clammy.
Just think, if Kathy had been here, you'd looked her in the eye and thought, we're going to die.
That's it.
That's it. It is the end. But the funny thing was that Mike said, take a break. Went outside, I was still dripping with sweat, and I thought to myself, isn't it amazing? You know, some people, they try cocaine or they'll have some drug. Coffee, caffeine, 3 shots in one cappuccino. I was completely...
Yeah, I was worried about you.
I wasn't thinking so. You said something about a tree at one point.
You called me Ted.
Did I?
Yeah.
You called me Ted.
Yeah, he did.
Ted.
He did.
Right, Fred, explain this to me then. You take caffeine and it makes you sharper, more clarity, more alert. I did it. It was like my brain was a fog.
You called him Ted.
Ted.
Weird.
Ted, but just to let you know, you had 2 first aiders on hand.
What, are you the other one?
Rory's a first aider back there. And
Rory.
I'm a first aider.
No way.
What do you mean, no
You've
way?
done the first aid. You've done the training course.
I've done 3 of them.
Wow.
When I did the Discovery things, I did that programme, Alone in the Wild.
Yeah.
And because I was surrounded by wild animals, I had to be a first aider. I had to learn how to put a tourniquet on my arm with my mouth. Seriously, in case a lion bit my arm off.
Really?
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Rory. Rory.
I'm not sure I could have done it with you for laughing, though.
Well, that was worrying, Matthew, because obviously, you know, as Fred's got his first aid, I've done my first aid, but I've got to update it. And obviously, what happened with Glenn, you know, in the studio, you know, thankfully now he's doing great. He's out of hospital. I think he had a quadruple or triple high heart bypass. He's recovering well. He's out of hospital, which is amazing news. People keep asking me for an update. You know, he's on the mend, which is incredible. What a great guy. But, you know, I was coming out of the awards in the night 606. It's true.
The awards. Did he mention that
No,
during
coming
my
out.
palpitations?
Awards?
Coming out.
Is that come in yet?
It was
Apparently about 6 people fainted in shock.
but,
Robbie Savage
so
has got another award.
I've come out of the awards and I'm flagging the taxi down, and a gentleman run across the road, fell over the road, banged his head on the floor, was out cold.
Really?
So I've run over to him, thought,
Here we
what's
go
happened?
Yeah.
You know, he was obviously very intoxicated with alcohol. It must be the Christmas party. And a cyclist come past. We dragged him out the middle. He was in the middle of the road.
He opened his eyes and said, "Not Robbie Savage."
Why be like? I'm trying to help people.
Mate, you help people every day.
Can I say one thing?
No, so anyway, the moral of the story was,
Yeah.
the moral of the story was, so I'm there, like, turn him on his side. The gentleman on the push bike was checking his pulse.
Yeah.
Maybe he was out cold. Wow. Anyway, all his mates, amazing, they all started to sober up quickly, and so it was about 6-7 minutes.
Yep.
You know, I had to get off. You know, make sure it was all right. And as they started sober up, they realized it was me, and it was like, It's Robbie Savage there. And I went, as I fleeted off into the distance.
Well, like Batman.
It was like Batman. And then I saw I don't know, Batman.
Have you just likened yourself to Batman? You said Batman. You went, yeah. I'm just like Batman.
The caped crusader.
Yeah. Keeping the streets safe, me, Robbie Savage. Keeping them safe. Batman. As he jumps in his mini. Come on, mate.
No, I'm not Batman. What am I talking about?
Batman.
Yeah, I was just, but like, then social media that night, some of them said, can't believe Robbie Savage stopped and helped our friend.
Oh,
and it
got out there, that's lovely. I'll tell you one thing that was interesting about going out and getting some fresh air and Fred, you're right, mate, and sympathy. When people are there for you, even if it's quite a small thing and people show some compassion. Obviously I wasn't.
Robbie stayed in here.
Robbie stayed in here and was checking his phone.
You want to keep the streets safe today. Is it Batman's day off today? Sorry, I'm not fighting crime or helping people today. It's Sunday. I'm a bit tired. And I've got a big week. I'm not saying.
You talk about sympathy.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury.
Oh, good topic. Yeah.
I've got to say, how on earth has he not won that fight? I thought.
Where'd you watch it?
I watched it at home. I set the alarm because I think in my younger days, you'd probably stayed up until 4 or 5 o'clock.
You're probably out though on the streets, aren't you? Keeping them safe. Did you have to have an hour off? There was all sorts of crime in Prestbury that night. Hey, when you were sat at home watching Tyson Fury, I tell you,
all right,
that's when Mike's house got burgled.
When you were boxing, did you ever get connected with so strong a shot that you lost consciousness, even temporarily? And how on earth does it come back?
I got it in sparring, and I blacked out for a split second.
Yeah.
Just blacked out. And then in my fight, I got knocked down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really a big punch.
Right.
It was disorientating. I was facing it wrong way after a big wild swing. And then I got clipped behind the back of my ear.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel I'd been hit. I was on the floor. And I got back up and my legs were a bit wobbly to begin with, but I wasn't out.
Were you surprised that Fury got up after fight? He looked as if he was completely gone.
For me, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was the perfect narrative.
That last round.
Storyline.
It just sums up Tyson Fury over the past few weeks. He's been knocked down and he's got back up when he shouldn't do.
I got knocked out against Chelsea,
Matthew. Metaphor for his
Yeah,
life.
that's the word I was thinking.
I got knocked out against Chelsea. It's quite a good story.
You got knocked out.
Yeah. So
Who was front of the queue?
why? I don't bother. So listen. So I played against Chelsea, right?
Even Zola fancied a go.
The ball got played over to the back post. I was marking the back post. So the ball gets played over. So as it goes over my head, I've turned and Graham Lasso volleys it full force towards the goal. Let's see, yard away, smashes me in the face.
Rob, I have to stop you. You realise this is being recorded. You've been knocked out by Graham Lasso.
The ball.
Graham Lasso.
Right.
I mean, one of the hard men of football. Graham Lasso, reading The Independent at the time. Graham Lasso.
So anyway.
I thought you was going to say Vinnie Jones or Patrick Vieira or Roy Keane. You went Graham Lasso. Just make it up. Use a different name.
So the ball smashed me in the face, and as I've gotten the ground...
Surprised it didn't pop on your nose.
I'm out. But the moral of the story is, so the physio runs on, the doctor runs on. I must have been out for 30 seconds. And as I've woke up, they've said, right, they asked me a question. And they went, who's the Prime Minister? And I went, I don't know. So they stretch you, hospital. I just didn't know the Prime Minister was. I just didn't know. It's in my book. I just didn't know. I don't know. I was bandaged up. I was on the way. Where am I going? I just didn't know he was. True story.
Brilliant.
Oh, but was.
Brilliant.
Get weird over. Why am I going to hospital? Just didn't know the Prime Minister was.
Oh, mate, that's very, very good.